price analyst, I'm Amadi, and of course a lawyer. The FCCPC, that is the Federal Competition and Consumers Protection Commission, have come out. That's a very big one, but it looks like a tall order. You know, don't they have enough staff to go around the markets and see if the consumer is being overpriced or underpriced? You know, why would it be depending on the citizens and the rest? Who reports NERC and the BDCs and the rest?
Well, I think like you said, the FCCPC is big, and what it does is central to the economic development of this country. I mean, it took quite a long time from 1999, when we had democracy, up until 2021, I guess, to have an antitrust law. You know, the first time it was sent was defeated under Obasanjo's regime. It didn't work. BPA tried it. So it's a good thing that finally we now have an antitrust, a competition law, and a competition commission. I'm glad that I was chairman of the Senate committee that finalized the draft, and Senate Technical Committee. Now the point is, they have a jurisdiction to engage in anti-competitive practice, and one of the things is collusion for pricing. I think one area they should actually focus is the airpiece aviation crisis, where there seem to be some what you call unfair pricing. But again, in the issue, people point out is, look, dollar is going down. The naira is improving. Naira is improving relative to dollar. So the notion here is that the prices should begin to fall. The price of foods, basic food item, because ostensibly, part of the reason why they're rising is the forex crisis. And now that we are somewhat under control, you know, the naira is doing better, you know, against the dollar. So the notion is that why the price is not coming down. So there are three things to bear in mind. One is that there could be other factors. First, time lag, the time in which the dollar improves, and the time it reflects in consumables, in food items, in items in the store. There'll be a lag. You know, the people who are selling purchase at a point in which dollar was X, and now dollar is X minus 1. So that it won't automatically reflect. That's number one. The other issue is to say that even when there's enough time for cooling effect, when the price should kind of drop, people might still want to sell at a higher price. And so the FCCP does not have a jurisdiction for price control, except where the president, you know, indicates a particular sector should be regulated. Otherwise, the notion is that free market, demand and supply, will determine the pricing. But again, they can now go and see if there are unfair competition, for example,
which is the antitrust law.
For example, if they agree, if there's collusion, if they are mislabeling, if there are several things that...
Well, the market people have their various associations, so there definitely will be collusion. Why is the price of petrol not dropped?
That's why they can now go and investigate. And there's a point. They're saying, should we report? Well, we can report that it triggers investigation, but they should have their own personnel who go around and look at intelligence. That's the price intelligence gathering.
Absolutely.
If you get intelligence, you compare where it is. So if there's a possible unfair practice, not necessarily that prices are high or low. If prices are high or low, those are not practices that FCCP should do. It's that there is some criminal, corrupt, organized plan to keep price high, either through some kind of oligopolistic practices or because of dominance power, market power, or collusion, or even, you know, mislabeling.
Like we see this in the cement industry, the cement war.
One example I should look at, okay,
the cement war.
It can even happen, look, oligopolistic, it can happen in aviation where only three airlines are running local routes, for example. They can decide to keep the flights at 100 naira, you know, 100,000, 103,000, whereas ordinarily could go down.
But that's what passengers are paying now. No, is there any flight that is less than 100,000 naira one way?
Exactly. The question to ask, is it because of fuel, aviation fuel going up? Is it because of cost of
it's coming down now with the Dangote refinery, diesel and Jet A1.
So price intelligence will not tell that ordinarily, with all these factors, it should be going there. They make investigation. So the idea here really is we shouldn't insert FCCP into the market in a brutish way. So people say, oh, they're selling puff at this price. It should have been done because dollar has come down. That's not the point. So the market should run as a market. But the issue is that they have to break that's what's antitrust. They have to break anti-competition practices. They have to ensure that people are not colluding. They have to ensure that there are no, artificial ways in which facts are fixed through some. But if because of economic factors, dollar has appreciated, but it has not kind of knocked-on effect to downstream. The buyers will still go to market subsequently to reflect the new price they will sell. Those are not the things. So you don't want to see consumers run up and down and say, oh, in our place they're still selling this at X, dollar has fallen down. That's the kind of thing. People begin to build wrong expectations that somehow FCCP will go to crash the price. No, FCCP has a process, and then generally price control is not part of our competition law, except in like power sector, for example, is regulated. So if anybody charges...
But in the good old days, we used to have the price control boards. Were they very effective? Can they be effective in today's open market economy?
Yeah, the problem with price control board, or even all kinds of rent control, whether it's in terms of residence accommodation, is that they create a black market, number one. Economists will argue that they can also create scarcity. People begin to, if the prices do not reflect, what they consider to be the cost of the business, people begin to withdraw services. For example, with minimum rent. So, okay, house 2-bedroom flat cannot go for less than 600,000. Now, the implication of it is that, or 600,000, for example, people will move resources from building houses to building stalls to building warehouses. So the economic argument is that, look, once you intervene in pricing in that sense, except through a supply side by increasing quantity, you create shortages that creates a black market that actually, kind of underserves the poor you want to deal with. So normally people look at it. That's why people encourage production. So okay, if you want to lower prices, you increase production. So let's take example food items. The food inflation about 37.96% by the latest NBC report. If you want to bring it down, it might be to increase food production, number one. It might be to reduce cost of food transport logistics. But if you now say you must sell a bag of rice for X amount, and then in the medium to long term, you harm productivity because people will now move resources away from production of rice to something else that's more profitable. So yes, the rent control in those days probably worked to reduce price, but in the long term, they worked to undermine long-term investment in those sectors, and they now discover shortage, they discover black market. People will now go and say, "Oh God, I'm ready to pay 2 million for a 3-bedroom flat. Forget this 600. I will sign 600, but I pay because of scarcity." So really, I think the price crisis is excruciating. But what FCCP did is to put an advisory, which is okay. Report to us if you see something. If EFC says, if you hear or see something wrong, say. Report back to us. But essentially, they should probably have their analysts looking at markets, looking at prices, asking questions around what is driving this, and then doing the investigation. And then, and there will be manipulators of the market system, they should prosecute those ones as a deterrent, but not really to be worried that maybe price should have been X, but because of dollar has come down, people want to see the prices come down quickly, and it's not coming down quickly because of a time lag, and again, there's also manipulation, and again, some of the cost increase is not because of dollar alone. Other factors come in, and like
logistics, like you mentioned, exactly. The roads are still very bad.
Absolutely.
So
we talk about animal spirit. The response people have to price increases is disproportionate. So even if you increase fuel by 10%, the response will be maybe 40, 50. It's that viral.
It's a snowball
animal
effect.
Spirit. People greed, people rushing around, perception, thinking fear factor. Things will go up again. They jack it up. By the time we go back to the market, we might pay more, they jack it up. So there will be no proportionality in the sense that once the dollar goes down by X amount, you're going to see X percentage drop in prices because there are several factors, and some of them are not rational, some of them are irrational behavior of market participants. So an interesting work to do for FCCP, but definitely we shouldn't create a stampede where people are fighting and say, reporting their mommy and popsy shops.
But I mean, if you look at, apart from, some key sectors you talked about, that the president can regulate the price, that is maybe
through
by
a law.
And which is probably by way of subsidizing certain.
Or the regulator, like power now. The regulator can say this is the price. If you charge more than that, that's violation of law, because that sector has been declared as a regulatory sector. For example, telecoms are regulated. It's through competition. It doesn't mean that the NCC, well, the NCC is not going to tell you this is the price for a call. Competition drives it, but telecom, the petrol sector, the downstream.
No, NCC told the telecom sector,
per second.
Yeah, at the onset.
They regulate price directly. They can regulate mood. They say, do per second. But what drives the price in that sector?
Don't forget that. Don't forget that one of the telecoms carriers was the one that started billing per seconds before NCC now said you must make it per second.
NCC can tell you a mode. You see, but I'm saying that they don't have. There's no in the website anywhere fixed. They say price of one call is 5K, or like NEC. NEC tells you the price is 225
per kilowatt,
because they are regulating price.
Particularly you guys on the A band. As a former chairman of.
I'm on F, but by the way, I don't get up to 5 hours. I'm B, but I'm supposed to be F. But the point is because it's a natural monopoly, electricity, it has to be regulated. But because this sector, telecom, free entry, free exit. So competition should regulate it. So if you're not doing well, MTN comes in and takes you off. If MTN is not doing well, Glo is there, they take them off. So the market works well where these services are not natural monopolies. That's why they don't regulate the price. So take, for example, the price of rice. I mean, of course, we know that if there are no enough rice growers, for example, a company that grows the rice, assuming that's such a company in Nigeria, could fix the price it would not relationship to cost, and that's why government can intervene through a policy. So NCPC, FCPC can intervene where there is such either monopoly, natural monopoly, or consulted monopoly, or oligopolistic practice, where few people come to the market and their pricing does not bear to the reality of the market. But in doing this, it's clear that they build on intelligence and not on the perception that by now
and liaise or collaborate with the National Bureau of Statistics, and they
they're considerate of the data.
Absolutely. So that's the data they need to work with, and not wait for you and I to come and report that the price of petrol has not gone down yet.
If you see something, say something.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Sam Amadi.